Okay, so next let's go ahead and create our model that is going to appear when we hover over this name. So for the model, what I'm going to do is I want the model to appear right around. I want the model to appear here. Okay, so I want the model to appear here, right? What I'm going to do is I'm going to go below this list items and I'm going to create a custom component called person, and I'm going to create it. Okay, so I'm going to create person.js, and this is one of the reasons why I say that I like having extracting components when it is necessary. Okay, so this is the first time that it has become technically necessary, because it's also possible to extract these buttons, these two buttons, into separate components, and we are going to do that. Actually, I just did it here to show you that it's possible. And then inside person, I'm going to say export default function person, like so. And then inside here, we're going to return a fragment. We're going to return an article that says person. Okay, and then we should save this probably, but first we need to import the person component here. So import it from person at the top right here. So save this and we should see person. Okay, so we should see this. Now what we want to happen is this person component, where is it? So this person component needs to have access to this user that we destructured right here. Okay, so how do we do that? Very simple. We pass it in as props. So you can think of props as properties. So I'm saying let's let the user property be equal to the user object that we destructured on the top right here. Okay, so that's basically what this means. And then once we do this, then we can go into the person component, and right here we can destructure the user. Okay, and then now instead of rendering person, we can render a div inside here, and this div is going to be and you know what, just to keep it consistent with how I've built this, let me render the div first and then the article second. Okay, and then this article is going to be an image, and this image is going to be coming from user.profile underscore image underscore 90. And then in case the image fails to load, then I just want to show the username, so user.name. And then below this, we're going to have an h3 that says user.name, like so. And then below this, and you know what, let me go outside of the article, we're going to have a button that says follow, which we're going to style differently. And then after this button, we're going to have another article with a few list items. So li, let's say li times, let's say 4. Okay, and then this first one is going to be the Dev.to website. So let me just see how this is accessed in the API. So it should be username. Yeah, it should be username. So this first one is going to say user.username. The second one is going to say user.twitter underscore username. This third one is going to say user.website underscore URL. And then this fourth one is going to say user.github underscore username. Okay, and then we need to add icons before all of this. So this first one is going to be an icon called FA-dev, which is coming from Font Awesome, from the React icons actually that we installed. The second one is going to say FA-Twitter, like so. The third one is going to say FA-Globe, like so. And then the fourth one is going to say FA-GitHub. And then we need to import them on top. So let's say import FA-dev and FA-Twitter and FA-Globe and FA-GitHub. These are coming from React icons /FA. Okay, so let's save this, and ideally we should see something on the screen right around, voila, there we go. I almost timed it perfectly. So this happens, now we just need to style it. Okay, let's place this to the right, and then let's place this to the left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go inside the person component, and then this person component, I'm going to give this a class name of absolute and pg slate -200 and padding of 5 all round with a rounded border with a slight box shadow. Okay, and then let's see, we should give it, let's see how this looks. Okay, so this is how it looks, absolute. Now let's break things a bit. Okay, so I'm going to set it to the top by 0. Actually, you know what, when I set it to the left by 0, it doesn't break all that much, right? It doesn't break all that much. But if I set it to the top by 0, then it breaks everything. Look at this, it breaks absolutely everything. So what won't happen is, the reason why this happens is because it is positioned, these articles are positioned absolute to the body. Instead, I want them positioned absolute to this article right here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, inside the fetch articles, I'm going to go inside, not this article, but inside this div, and give this div a class of relative. And what will happen, they're going to move right here. Look at that. So now they're going to be positioned relative to their particular parent articles, which is exactly what we want. Okay, and then let's continue to style this out. Let's continue to style this out. Inside the person, we're going to go inside the image right around here, give this a class name of width-20 with a rounded -2xl with a box shadow, very slight box shadow on the image, like so. And then go inside this article, give this a class name of flex and items-center and justify -center. And you know what, I want them to go in column form, like so. Fantastic. And then I want the h3 to have a class name of text-center. Okay, and then let's style it out a bit more. We're going to say font-bold and text-slate-700. Okay, let's just say text-xl, make it a bit larger. Let's say margin y of 5, so margin on the top and bottom of 5. There we go. And then let's style our follow button, so give this a class name of bg indigo-700. Then when you hover over it, I want bg indigo-800. Okay, I want the font to be bold, I want the text to be white, I want the border to be rounded -large. Okay, and then let's see, I want the cursor to be pointer, cursor-pointer. Look at this. Okay, I want the padding on the y to be 2, padding on the x to be 4. Okay, look at that. And then now I want this to be block, so that it goes all the way to the end. Sorry, not block, but width-full. I want it to have a full width. There we go, that it goes all the way to the end. And then I want all these articles to have a similar width. So I'm going to add a bit more custom styling in our CSS once we reach that point. But for now, let me just continue styling this out. So I'm going to go inside this first ULI, the second one. Oh, and by the way, I didn't mention, if you want to add multiple cursors, you can click on the first place where you want the cursor to be, and then hold down the Alt key to the next one, and click on the next one, and then the third one, and then the fourth one. So that's why that's how I add multiple cursors. So I want this to have a class name of text-small. Let's see how this looks. Okay, and you know what, I want all of these to have, all of these usernames and all of these usernames to have @ before them. Where is it? @ there we go. That's not what I wanted. Okay, let's remove this space and this space and this space, @ username, and then add the space here and here and here. Okay, and then we can go inside these icons, sorry, not inside the icons, but inside the list items still, and we can say flex and items-center and justify-start. Let's see how that looks. Okay, let's go inside the icons next. Okay, so inside the icons right inside here, give this a class name of margin on the right of 2. Oh no, of 1. 2 is a bit big. And then let's go back inside the list items, and we can say that when you hover over this, then I want the text to be black. Okay, so let's see how this looks. Look at that. And then let's change the cursor to pointer, like so. And then let's go inside these list items still. Let's say margin bottom of 1 or of 2 really. Okay, so yeah, we're going to have that. Would you look at that? That's looking quite nice, if I do say so myself. And now what I want to do is inside this UL, I want to give this a class name of grid grid and grid columns -2 with a gap of, let's say, 1 probably, okay, or a gap of 2, so that we're going to have this. Would you look at that? That's looking quite nice, if I do say so myself. However, there is still no margin between this button and the article, so let's go inside the article, give this a class name of margin top of 5, pushed away from the button. There we go. So we have the follow button and we have the social media right here, and I want to increase this grid gap to probably something like 5, probably grid gap, let's say grid 5. No, that's too much, let's say grid 3, gap 3. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to go inside my CSS and give these cards a custom class name. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go inside my fetch articles and I'm going to place this person component inside an article. So I'm going to say article like so. Probably I should place it outside of the UL. I hope that still works. Okay, so nothing breaks. So what I'm going to do is this article, I'm going to give this article a custom class name of person like so that I can access this person component from the article that is inside here, from the div, sorry, that is inside here, because there's only one div inside this article component. So let's go inside our index.css. Let's go to the bottom and say that for the person article, what I want to happen is I want this to have a width of 90%. How does that look? Is that good? That is not good because I'm accessing the wrong thing. I should say the person.div. There we go. So the person.div has a width of 90%, and I've set it like that so that it is also responsive on small screens. Look at that. So on small screens, it's always going to have a width of 90%. And I've just realized a bug where notice how, because this is a grid, then if the text is too much, then it's going to overlap into the next one. So what I want to do, the first thing really, is I want to go back where we have the website at website URL, and instead of rendering this, then I'm going to say website, okay, and then I'm going to grab let's see, now let's move this first of all, and then I'm going to grab all of this and I'm going to place an href that is going to go into user.website underscore URL and then paste this in, and then we can say website, okay, and then I want this to open on a new tab, so target e equals to underscore blank with a rel of no referrer. Okay, I want this to open in the elements, so we're going to have that. Okay, that's looking nice, but it has messed with the styling, as you can see. So in order to fix that, then I'm just going to grab all of this, really all of this, or rather all of this. Let me grab from here to here, and then oops, and then I'm going to go inside here, give this right here a class name of this, and that should fix it. There we go. Would you look at that? Looking fantastic. And then now let me see if anyone has a long, yeah, there we go. So the ones with long names, I wanted to check this. So the reason why this is happening is because this is the first grid and then this is the second grid. So let me refrain from using grid gap here, sorry, from using grid, and then let it just be from the top to the bottom going downwards. Yeah, just like that. I think that would be better in terms of UI, right? And actually, you know what we can do is we can say that for large screens, then we can display it as a grid with grid -2 with a gap of 3. And then now we can go inside our index.css and then we can add a media query. We can say add media min width of, let's say, 1024 pixels, which is large screens. Then I want the person div to be 90%, obviously, which it is on the top. And actually, you know what? That means that I didn't even have to add this. What am I doing? So look at this right around here, right? So this is probably as small a screen as it's going to go, probably to around 280 pixels. And we can see that something messes up here. Okay, so something messes up here, so that's around 375 pixels. So we can fix that by going to fetch articles, where we have our reading time right here. So we can say flex wrap. We can set this to flex wrap. Okay, so that this is going to go to the next line. Go to the next line. There we go. Look at that. Fantastic, fantastic. And we have that. Okay, so now it's fully responsive. Now what I want to do is on large screens, I want to reduce the width of this. Okay, so yeah, then we need to re-add this really. So this is going to go back to width about, let's say width, set this to 400 pixels. Okay, yeah, that's looking much better. I don't know what 400 pixels is in RAM, but you can check it out. And let's say 400 pixels, so 25 RAM. So 25 RAM. And 25 RAM is looking pretty neat for this. So yeah, this is looking pretty nice. Now all we need to do is we have to have the hover state. So when you hover over the name of the person, then this pops up. So what I'm going to do is inside the dot person. Is it inside the dot person? The dot person is what? What is it? What is it? The dot person is this article. So what I'm going to do is for the dot person, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say display none. Okay, and it should disappear. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is when you hover over the person, so dot person dot hover, not dot hover but full colon hover, then I'm going to say display block. Come on, display block. So what is going to happen? Where is it? Where's the dot person actually? Yeah, I was expecting that to happen because I just realized that we don't have, if this is displayed none, then it's obviously not on the screen, right? I realized that a bit too late. So instead what we should do is we should get this display none to be here. So the person div display none, and then we should say that below this, we should remove this, and say below this that for the person, when you hover over the article, right, then you want to target the div and set the div to display block. Let me see. No, what is wrong? What did I do wrong? Okay, so after a long time of debugging, I finally realized that I was trying to add a hover state to this article, which is outside of the UL and this list item, which I had given a custom class name of name. So I've removed it from here, and instead I'm going to add it on this article. So add a custom class name of name, and then inside my index.css, I'm going to say for the dot name and the dot person div, then this is going to happen. And then for the dot name, and for the dot name, when we hover over it, then I want to access the person div and display block, and this should happen. There we go. Okay, fantastic. And then when you're not hovering over it, then this happens. Okay, now I had initially wanted to place the hover state on the title of the person, right, on the title instead of the entire article, right, as you can see, because it can be quite annoying, as you can see, right? But then I've just realized that the reason why that is not possible is because I have restructured this in such a way that it doesn't allow for me to do that unless I do a bit of hacking here and there, which is probably to grab this and move it upwards. But I don't want to do that right now. Now what I want to do is I want to reduce the width of this on large screens because this is quite huge. Oh, and I actually did, but I've accessed this differently. So I just need to add the dot name here and the dot person div, and there we go. That's much better. Okay, fantastic.